Today I am answering 4 of your questions about business and marketing for artists. Hi, I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. All of today's questions come from the same person, but they are all so well tied into each other that we're just going to go ahead and answer them all and just break it up into 4 sections. The first question, you say that it's important to learn about marketing. Can you give concrete examples of things you learned about marketing that you apply and see a benefit for, or marketing concepts that you've tried to apply and didn't work so well? One of the biggest things that I had to learn was understanding your target market. Understanding that you are not trying to please the entire world. It's so easy to get in our head. We want everyone to love our work. We want everyone to want to buy our work. Obviously, it doesn't work. It just absolutely does not work. What we want to do instead is figure out who our target market is, our target audience, and get our work in front of those people. That is how you're going to make the sales. When you can pinpoint who exactly your target audience is and really visualize who they are, make an avatar for the person. What do they look like? What do they do for a living? What personality type or sense of humor do they have? What things do they like and dislike? Really get an idea of exactly who it is that your perfect buyer is, that your perfect audience is. Understand who that person is, and then you can base a lot of your marketing strategy around pleasing that one person. Now you're gonna have spillover. It isn't like the people who like my pet portraits aren't possibly gonna like my surreal work. Some of that is going to spill over. But understanding who it is that you're marketing to is going to make it easier for you to even know how to word your listings on Facebook. How are you going to talk to people? You want to talk to that person. How does that person want you to communicate with them? Do they want you to be super serious and stiff? Probably not. Most people wouldn't. But I mean, if you can kind of visualize who that perfect person is, it makes it much easier for you to sort of create content, your posts, your listings, the way you're trying to sell your artwork based on what that person would like. Now, just to be clear, I don't mean create artwork around what somebody else likes. You're going to create that avatar around your passion, what you're creating, and then kind of build the avatar off that and use that as who you're marketing to, if that makes sense. I don't mean create some random person who happens to like landscapes even though you're not interested in painting landscapes. That doesn't make sense. If you paint surreal work, who is the buyer for that surreal work? Where do they hang out? What do they do for a living? That sort of thing is what I mean here. Your goal, when you post something on Facebook or you make a video or whatever it is, you want the people watching, the people seeing your content to go, that's for me. That information is meant, it is written for me. If you can hit those people, those are going to be your biggest fans. They're going to be the people who want to buy from you. You don't want people who go, oh, that's cool, and move along. You want those people who really are interested in what you're doing. If you've sort of built up this avatar of who that person is that you're selling to, it just makes it easier to hit that point of somebody seeing it and going, that's for me. This is where I belong. This is the information I want. This is the type of artwork I want, that sort of thing. The second question is, do you have any tips regarding growing an audience on YouTube other than posting videos regularly over time? Of course, being consistent and uploading on a regular basis is a huge deal. It doesn't matter how awesome your videos are. If you only have 3 of them, you're not going to grow a huge subscriber base in most cases. The next big thing that you can do to help grow your channel is to do collaborations. Find other artists who have about the same amount of subscribers that you do and collaborate with each other. One of you paints one half of the canvas, one paints another, or one of you challenges the other. You know, things that you can bring that other person's attention to your audience, and in turn, they will tell their audience about you. Collaborations are one of the fastest ways to grow your channel. Now, don't run out there and try to find a channel that has 500,000 subscribers and try to get them to collaborate with you. It is probably not going to happen. You'll probably just never get a response at all. You want to find somebody else who is at about the same stage as you, that has about the same amount of subscribers. That works the best. The third question, why did you decide not to take commissions anymore? I see a lot of artists doing that, and it gives the impression that commissions are not as fun or as lucrative as the non-commission work. Commissions can be a blessing and the biggest headache in the history of the world. It can go either way. Most of the commissions that I've taken over the years, I loved the people that I worked with and everything was great. You always get those few people who, no matter what you do, they're going to want you to change this and then that and then this, and they've got 50 different changes they want made and nothing's ever good enough, and it just weird stuff go on, and it can be a very big headache. Or even the planning process can take a long time. So even if it's the easiest client in the world to deal with, you still have to to go through the process of having them look at your initial sketch, approve the sketch, look at your initial layers, or is that okay? Is the size okay? What size canvas do you want? What type of canvas do you want? There's a lot involved. And I'm not saying that's a negative thing, but for me, because of my schedule with YouTube, I just ran out of time. It got to the point where when people would contact me for commissions, either I forgot to ever get back to them. That was turning into a real problem. Just the emails would get lost in the crowd, and it would be months before I got back to them, and I just don't have time to keep going back. The communication that's involved or needs to be involved in creating a good experience for both the buyer and the artist, I wasn't able to provide that anymore just because of my time schedule right now with YouTube. So I stopped doing commissions. It really just came down to a time frame, but I think that doing commissions as an artist when you're trying to make a living, that is one of the best ways to go. I don't want to make it seem like you shouldn't do it. It's just, it takes a little bit longer than me just going, okay, I'm painting some roses today, versus somebody hiring me to paint roses, and I've got to find the right color, and I have to find the right layout, and they've got to approve the composition, and there's just a lot involved that I don't have time for anymore. And of course, you will get that one client who is the biggest pain, and it'll make you never want to take a commission again. And I think we've all had that from time to time. So that is a reason that a lot of artists will stop taking commissions. If they get to where they can sell enough of their own original artwork, or if they're teaching enough classes, they're making enough money on their art outside of commissions, a lot of artists choose just not to deal with it. Question 4. What do you think about selling through a gallery versus selling online? Specifically, if submission or participation in the gallery costs money, in addition to the commission once a painting is sold, which you have to pay even if your work doesn't sell, is it worth trying to get into an exhibition in a gallery? Or is it better to focus on selling directly online? Thanks for all that you teach and share. I completely understand if these are too many questions to be answered at once. Best, Karen. I think a lot of this depends on the style that the artist is creating and the size. There are just so many factors as to whether I think a gallery is a better fit or selling online is a better fit for the artist. A lot of times it is hard for abstract artists to sell online, whereas in person it's easier for people to want to purchase that work. Don't know why, that's just what I've seen in a lot of galleries. Different styles, outsider art, those tend to do better than the super realistic work, whereas online it's the other way around. The super realistic work gets a lot more attention. The next thing I would consider would be the size. If the artist paints really large, that is not practical to sell online because it's not practical to ship. So that's a pretty big deal. It is so much easier too to sell. I mean, if you've got a larger painting, you're probably going to be charging a lot more for it. It is easier to charge more for something that somebody who has seen in person, like in a gallery or at an art show, than it is online. And yes, galleries do take a commission or a percentage, or they have fees, and that is something to take into account. But realistically, a big painting, I mean, I've got a big painting on my wall here. There's no way I can sell it online. It's actually just a part of my personal collection now, but there's no way that I can sell that online because I can't ship it. It would cost more to ship than the painting would be worth. It's a very old one. So let's say I decided to sell it for $2,000 at a gallery. 50% of $2,000 is still a lot more than no dollars. So even though they're taking that big cut, that sometimes is just what you have to do to sell a piece, because like I said, that painting, there is no way I'm going to be able to ship it. I mean, it could be done, wouldn't be worth the hassle. And a lot of artists do like to work very large, so galleries are really going to make more sense for them in most cases than selling online. I've sold both in galleries and online, and they both have positive and negatives. I would recommend that you try both and see what is a better fit for you. And not all galleries are created equally. I've had some really bad experiences with galleries who did not take care of the artwork. So it's definitely not worth the trouble in that case. But I would say do your research, find galleries, visit galleries in your area and see if any of them might be a fit for you. Talk to the owners or the managers there and see if that might work for you, because I don't think that galleries are always terrible by any means. And it's a fun experience. I liked my time where I was involved with the gallery. But it's also not necessary. So if you go to a gallery and you are not comfortable with their terms of service or whatever you want to call it, don't feel like you have to accept anything, because again, we can sell online. We're not limited to them anymore. So I think we have a lot more freedom as artists now, which is nice. We can make different choices than we were limited to 20 or 30 years ago. I have a frequently asked questions page over on my website. If you cannot find the answer to your question, I have a section where you can submit a question to be featured in one of these videos. I will have a card pop up here so you can check that out. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, I have new video critiques every Tuesday where I'm critiquing your original paintings or drawings, my own speed paintings, drawings, and tutorials every Wednesday, art Q&A videos every Thursday, and artist vlogs each weekend. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. All of those social media sites are linked below in the video description where you can keep up with news, my newest work, and be notified of when I have live streams going up.